Hey you guys, my name is Brittany Bryden and today I'm bringing you a mobility flow. So the focus is going to be more around the lower half of the body, so the hips, legs, ankles, and feet. So it's a really fun one. I hope you enjoy it with me and just make sure you have lots of space and you're good to go. So we're going to start facing the long edge of our mat. Bend your knees and set the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart and just take the hands behind you. So as you sit up tall, you're going to start to let your knees fall over to the right. And then bring your knees through center, and then let the knees fall over to the left, and then come through center. So you're just going to do a couple more on your own. Cool, and then as you bring your knees through center, you're going to sit cross-legged. So right leg in front of the left, but instead of the heels being in towards you, I want you to bring your feet forwards. You can stay crossing at the ankles, or you're going to start to walk your feet away from one another. So it's like you're kind of creating more of a box shape with the legs. Sit up tall, and then you can stay sitting up tall, or you're going to walk your hands forwards and fold into yourself. So relax around the ears, the neck. We'll take a few breaths here. And then walk your hands in, lift yourself up. Bend your knees and set the feet back on the mat, and then let the knees rock side to side again. So from here, you're going to start to take a little less weight onto the floor. So you can take one hand away, maybe you take both hands away. And then when you come through center, sit cross-legged with the left leg in front. So bring the feet forwards, crossing at the ankles, or you're going to walk your feet away from one another. Sit up tall, and you can stay there, or walk your hands forwards as you fold in. And walk your hands in, lift yourself up. And then turn to face the long edge of your mat. Bend your knees, set your feet down on the mat, hip distance apart. So your right hand's going to come behind you, your fingers are going to face back. Now use your glutes and the hamstrings, lift the hips up towards the ceiling for a reverse table, and just reach out left arm back. Now you're going to lower your bum back down to the floor and switch hands, so the left hand behind you, fingers face back. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling, reach out right arm up and over, and then lower back down, and then switch hands. You're going to continue going on your own. And now as you start to get a little bit more warmed up through the body, feel free to add in something else. So maybe it's bigger circles through the arms, maybe it's a little bit more of a back bend. Just make sure the glutes and the hamstrings are working. You're flowing with your breath. Last round. And then when you finish that, we're going to meet into table. So make your way onto your hands and knees. Shoulders over top of the wrists, knees hip distance apart. Take an inhale, send the chest to the gate of the shoulders, tailbone up. And as you exhale, round and push away from the floor. So you're going to continue with your cat-cows. One more cycle. And then come into your neutral spine. So you're going to bring your left knee more towards center. Take your right leg straight back with the toes tucked under. Feel like you're pressing the back of the right knee to the ceiling. Now drive all your weight back into that right heel. Get that stretch to the calf. And then bring your shoulders over top of the wrists and make sure you lift up to the core to support the spine. Now right leg lifts and toes face the ground, and I want you to envision like you have a block or something just above your sacrum. So try not to move your sacrum around or else you would drop that block. So pelvis stays where it is, but squeeze your right heel in towards your glute. Keep the heel squeezed. We're going to do some big hip circles. So you're going to bring that right knee into center. Take that knee directly to the side. And then send the knee back as you bring the thigh parallel to the floor. Again, bring the knee in, circle it to the side, and then send it back. So you're going to move through a few more rounds on your own, making sure you're not flaring through the ribs. That block isn't going to drop. And after you finish that next round on that direction, you're going to do the opposite way. So your knee is going to go to the right, bring your knee in, and then send the knee back and up. Keep going. Try not to rush it. Go nice and slow. One more round. And then set that right knee down. Take your left leg straight back, tuck your toes under, and then drive all your weight back into that left heel. Shoulders over top of the wrist, lift that left leg up, support the spine with your core. Envision that block is there, don't drop it. Left heel squeeze into the glute. Then bring the knee into center, take the knee to the side, and then send the knee back. Keep going. And then go the opposite way. One more round. Set the knee down. Tuck your toes under, lift the hips up and back, and come into downward dog. So bend one knee, straighten the other, and just shift side to side. So your feet are about hip distance apart. Lift up high in the balls of the feet, bend your knees, and bring your chest towards the thighs. So you're going to hover your knees just an inch above the floor. And then stay high in the balls of the feet, just straighten the legs, lift the hips up and back. Nice long downward dog. So do that again. Bend the knees, hover the knees, send the hips back. And then stay high on the balls of the feet, straighten the legs, downward dog. One more time. Bend the knees, hover, chest towards the thighs. And then straighten the legs. Now I want you to look forwards. Bend the knees, chest towards the thighs. And then you're going to spring that right foot to the outside of the right hand, come into a lunge. So from here, you're just going to come forwards and backwards into the hip. And then step back, downward dog, bend the knees, chest towards the thighs. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Come forwards and backwards into the hip. And then step it back, bend the knees, chest towards the thighs. So you're going to go a little bit quicker now. So step your right foot to the outside of the right hand, you're in the lunge. And then go back, bend the knees, chest to thigh. Left foot outside of the left hand, you're in the lunge. And then step it back. So you're going to continue going side to side on your own. Few more rounds. And then next time you step that right foot forwards, keep it to the outside of the right hand, then step your left foot to the outside of the left hand, turn your feet out, bend the knees, and lower the hips down, coming into a malasana squat. So bring your hands together in prayer, lift the sternum up, and actively press your knees open. Now use your glutes, come all the way up to stand, and then lower back down into that malasana squat. Two more like that. Power all the way up to stand, and then lower down. One more time. Come up, and then lower down. Set the hands to the floor. Bring your feet parallel. Lift the hips up and fold into the legs. Bring your fingertips to the shins. Lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Set the hands down, step back, downward dog. You're going to come forwards into a plank, so bring your shoulders right over top of the wrists with your knees up or down. You're going to lower yourself all the way down onto the floor. So leave your hands where they are. Press the tops of the feet on the ground. Now bring that right heel in towards your right glute. You're going to roll over onto that left hip, ground the right foot behind you, press yourself all the way up so you're now sitting up tall and facing the back of the mat. And then come back onto your stomach as you send the right leg back and reset. So we're going to do the other side now. So bring that left heel to the glute, roll on the right hip, ground the foot behind you, press yourself all the way up, and then come back onto your stomach, send your left leg back. Other side, right heel in, roll over on that left hip, ground the foot behind you, press yourself up. And then lower back onto your stomach, right leg back. And then switch, left heel in, roll on the right, ground the foot, lift up. And then lower back down. One more time on each side. So right heel in, roll on that left hip. Ground the foot behind you. Now this time, use the glutes to lift the hips up towards the ceiling for a wild thing. Reach that right arm up and over. Lower back down to the floor. Come onto your stomach, send that right leg back. Other side, left heel in, roll on that right hip, ground the foot behind you. Lift the hips up, wild thing, left arm up and over. And then lower back down to the floor. Come onto your stomach. We'll meet there. So hands framing the lower rib cage. Activate through the inner thighs and the glutes. Baby cobra, pull your chest forwards and up like you're dragging your hands to the feet. And then you're going to lower down. Tuck your toes under, press yourself up through table or plank. And you're going to come into downward dog. Bring your big toes to touch. So lift up high onto the balls of the feet, send those hips back. Right leg up towards the ceiling, toes face the ground. Bend that bottom knee, bring your chest towards your thigh, keep pushing that right leg back. And then come forwards, bring your knee into your nose, so shoulders over top of the wrists or fingers. Step that right foot down beside the right thumb, lower the left knee to the ground, and come into a low lunge, reach both arms up. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the right. So you're going to take that left arm forwards, right arm back. Your right hand's going to come to the low back, fingers face down. Left arm reaches up, and you're just going to lean back. Now bring that left hand back down to the floor. Take it a little bit wider so it's not close to your right foot. Reach that right arm up towards the ceiling, and then pick up your back knee so you're in a lunge. Now I want you to look forwards. You're going to kick your left leg through in between your hand and the foot. So you have to hike the hips up so that you can send that left leg through, hover it, and then lift the hips back as you set that left foot back and come into that easy twist. Left knee comes to the floor, chest stays facing the right. Lift yourself up, take that right hand to the low back, left arm up, lean back. And then left hand down, right arm up, easy twist, pick up that back knee. So you can do whatever you'd like with that top arm, but look forwards. Send that left leg through in between the hand and the foot, hover the leg. Lift the hips up, send that left leg back. Set that left knee down, and then one more round. You're going to reverse it, right hand to the low back, left arm up. And then left hand down, right arm up, pick up that back knee. Send that left leg through. Step it back, easy twist. Now right hand comes down to the inside of that right foot. You're going to walk yourself over to the left for a wide-legged forward fold. Feet parallel to the short ends of the mat. Come onto your fingertips, lengthen the spine, and then fold into your legs. So now you're going to come down onto your knees. You can fold the front end of your mat over if you need some padding. And just take your knees nice and wide. So your heels come in line with the knees, knees nice and wide. You're just going to rock your hips forwards and then rock the hips back. Forwards and backwards. So you might come onto your forearms if that feels better. Now come onto your hands, tuck your toes under, hips up and back. So it's kind of like you're in a wide downward dog. And then walk your hands to the front of the mat and step back into downward dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Heels lift, send your hips back. Take your left leg to the ceiling, toes face down. Bend that right knee, bring your chest towards the thigh. And then come forwards, bring your knee into your nose. Step that left foot down in between the hands, back knee lowers to the floor, low lunge, both arms sweep up. So inhale, reach. Exhale, twist to the left, right arm forwards, left arm back. Left hand to the low back, right arm up. Just start to lean back. And now right hand comes down to the floor, pick up the back knee, left arm up to the ceiling. So looking forwards, lift the hips up. You have to use your core to bring that right leg through. Send it to the front. Lift the hips up and back, step that right leg back. You're in that easy twist. Right knee down, and then lift yourself up. Left hand to the low back, right arm up and over. And then right hand down, pick up that back knee, left arm up. Send your right leg through. And then step it back. And then right knee to the floor. Last time, reverse it, right arm up. Right hand down, pick up the back knee. Send that right leg through. Step it back. And then left hand down on the inside of the left foot. Walk yourself over to the right, wide-legged forward fold. So any variation you'd like in your wide-legged forward fold. And then walk your hands forwards until you come down onto your knees. Pad up your knees if you need. Take the knees nice and wide. You're on the hands or forearms. You're like, I was really hoping not to do this one again. Rock forwards and then rock back. Keep going. Last time. All right, but this time you're going to pull through, come onto your stomach, swing your legs forwards, and you're coming into a seated position. So give your legs a good shake. Come down onto your backs and bring both knees in towards your chest. Just rock a little side to side. Bring both feet down on the mat about hip distance apart, hands on the floor framing the hips. As you press the feet down, feel like you're pulling your heels to the glutes. Take an inhale, breathe in the ribs, the back. And then as you exhale, engage the glutes, pick up through your pelvic floor as you lift the hips to the ceiling. Inhale, lower the hips down to a hover. And then exhale, pick it back up. Doing a couple more glute bridge lifts on your own. Last time. Lift the hips up, pause there. So think of a C shape as you lower down, glutes will land last. So move through the spine, lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Let your knees rock side to side. Bring your knees through center. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then let it go. So take the legs long, bring the arms down to the floor, close down the eyes. And before you go into the rest of your day, I want you to take a few moments here in stillness. Just finding your breath. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope I see you again soon. Always be humble and be kind. Thank you.